What's up, Digidestins? Did you hear the bell? That means it's Wednesday, and guess what that is? Market Watch. So guys, remember, hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on my market watches and other videos I post, especially since we are moving into BT10 month, where we lead up with a lot of videos relating to deck profiles, getting you those out, talking about other best decks and stuff like that. So hopefully guys, you enjoy the video. Remember, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's dive right in. First off, let's talk about none other than the Sakuyamon from Premium Event. Basically, this card is starting to come and fall down more and more. It's trying to hold the line at the 70 mark, which is acceptable. But remember when this card was like 120 and stuff like that, it's going to keep teetering down for a while now until we get more Agumon-based support that isn't just X antibody. I feel like once we get that and it shows that more of this Sakuyamon is needed, I would expect this to climb back up. People will rebuy it. Right now, we're going to see a lot of people selling cards right now. Any of their stuff to try to save up and get to their national invites in LA. There's a lot of people from the Northeast are going to have to do that. Or even from Midwest. It's quite expensive to fly out there. It's not a cheap flight. So, and even hotel stays in Los Angeles, California is not cheap at all. So we're looking at 55 euros. Not bad at all. Sakuyamon is basically $40 right now. Not terrible. Not terrible at all. Outside of the $40, it is coming down. It's been just slightly climbing up, which makes really little sense because this card sees no play going forwards. So expect this to start teetering off. People will probably start selling the more high-end collectibles, like I said, just to be able to afford their flight out. So that's just something you got to keep on the radar with. You're looking at 40 euros, and it's almost on buyout status on Europe. Crazy. Digimon from DC1 is at $54. This card has its weird fluctuations at times. It'll hit at 60 and then try to teeter down. So it's just something to keep an eye out on. I would not pay attention to this, so 60 bucks is kind of where it's trying to hold down to. And it's just going to hover around there this whole time. Looking at 40 euros, 40 bucks. Angelmon. Remember this card being like crazy expensive in the $46 range? Well, then it dipped down to 35, and now it's starting to fall back into $35 range, which isn't bad. Expect this because it's going to be another card that is on high demand and sell point, especially if you don't plan on playing certain decks leading up into that format. So it's not a bad understanding there. Looking at 30 euros, not bad. Gabumon is a card that has just been falling and falling. And the reason behind this, what I've been noticing, is that a lot of people are trying to just sell off the Durugamon deck for some reason. They're not enjoying it, I think. Or they're getting ready for BT11. I mean, BT10, which is, you know, you're going to be moving on off blue anyway. You're going to be going right into Shoutmon. But that's also because nobody really knows how the deck is going to go into a competitive setting, because usually every major event, it is neutered on Europe's side. The deck does perform decently, but it's not crazy topping. Looking at 6 euros, not bad. Greymon from Event Pack 2 is suffering the same fate as the Gabumon. It is coming down. Might be a good time to start picking these up, in my opinion, because they are cooling off that hype price. I mean, being able to drop down 10 bucks is huge. Looking at, you know, 8 euros, $8. I can't wait. If it hits that, it'll be amazing. Angelmon from the official tournament volume 6, the shiny one. This card started off at $11. It's now cooling off around the $6 range. Not terrible at all, I think. Let it fall down a little bit more if you want, but it's about 7 euros. I don't hate it. Garurumon, same thing. It is holding its line up here, but it's starting to just teeter off into the $20 range. And that's also a major contributor of that is the meta is shifting to BT10. People are not going to hold on to decks, especially if they're not going to be going off to regionals, especially since there's only 3 in-person, 1 online before we move over to BT10. So people are going to start moving their product that way. And especially with nationals, now people are going to move it even harder, just because why are you going to hold on to product that you just don't need? So about 19. Not bad. Looking at 10 euros. Not terrible. Durugamon. This card, 15, now into the $10 range, and it's just staying there. I'm not surprised this card's going to hold this line, probably, and even fall further, just because people are trying to move off it and not worry about the deck anymore. Looking at 6 euros. I ain't hating it. Angelmon from Event Pack 2 is about $19. Not bad. I think this is $20 is not a bad call on this card. It is falling down from that overly hyped range of $52. Yes, we do have the other alternate art, but it's nice to see this card come down. Looking at 10 euros, $10, not bad. Upamon is at $20. We're looking at a solid price range here. I remember this thing being like almost close to 30 at one point, but it's good to see it just teetering down slowly. Again, other reasons for this is the deck. People are trying to get off blue now and go over to the next best deck, and that's Crossheart. And we're looking at a whopping 10 euros. I ain't hating it. Angelmon suffering an amazing downfall right now. We're looking at $10. That's not bad, at least. That's pretty good for the participation. It's going to keep falling down because there are many more regionals and more of this gets passed out. So just enjoy the run while you can. About 7 euros, $7. Durugamon is also dropped extensively, actually. Remember this thing being like $35? I do. Now it's selling around the $15 range. Not bad at all, and I'm really happy for that. The card came down pretty solidly. 11 euros, $12 basically. Not bad. RideMyAvatar, about $20, and it's holding that range. It was at a $32 range for a bit. It is starting to climb up, but that's also because this card is almost on buyout status, and that's just about it there. About 12 euros for them, but also they don't have many regional events to fill the gap here. Sakuyamon X Antibody is looking like a $11 card. This card was in the $30 range at one point. Now it's kind of just hovering that $10 range, which is quite acceptable. I find it very acceptable for that kind of situation. I'm really happy to see that. As is, looking at 3 euros, not bad. Sakuyamon from the promotional. This card was at 24, and I told you guys this would fall down. It didn't show as much representation, and I don't think going into BT10 it's going to have that crazy over-representation, because it might have it in Japan, and that's just because easier to pull off one can trip in a best-of-1 setting than it is for you to pull it off 3 times in a best-of-3. Yes, it did top in the recent events, like 2 weekends ago. It had a lot of showings. But I also feel like that's just people are starting to learn the deck a little bit better, understand its momentums and stuff like that. But I don't think the deck is going to still warrant its hype price. Like Palmon's and everything like that, the Grand Quagga is all coming down. Expect this all to come down still. We're looking at $15. Not bad. Looking at the $10 euros, $10. Blossomon is still holding that value and climbing. So this is also because Bloomlord hype is pushed behind a lot of players. People are pushing the deck further and further. There's not many decks that you can just say that instantly, which I do enjoy saying that. Looking at it, we're looking at 2 euros. Not terrible. Sunrise Buster. Climbing up and trying to hold that $15 range, but I don't see it holding that for now. It has to have a lot of showing with Shoutmons, and I think most players either have their play set or have the couple copies they want. So it's just going to be weird right now. We're looking at 5 euros. Not terrible. Tactical Retreat is still holding that $20 range. I don't know if this is going to hold forever. People are still haven't bought any more copies in that range for a bit. So I don't know if that's going to just justify its hype price. And I think it'll teeter down slowly. Just give it a couple months or so like that. Looking like 7 euros. Not terrible. Davis has just tanked. And the reason for this is because we have the Ragna and the Jesmon decks. They are confirmed that he's going to be in there in a full art foil. That is why this is selling really quickly. People are just trying to move these so that they don't have to worry about the deck. They'll upgrade and get back into the deck afterwards. Looking at €9. I don't hate it. Heroes holding that $15 line. It's not terrible. It's one of those good cards, and its longevity is really good there. Looking at €6. I ain't hating on it. Tai Kamiya, looking at that, holding that 10 range after its big buyout. It was at like 15 for a bit. If I remember correctly, people bought it in the $14 range, close to 15. So, yeah, we're going to have to see what happens. If the deck gets crazy in Japan, we'll expect a lot more value in it. Looking like $9. Not bad. Eosmon, $11. This card is on buyout status. I wouldn't be surprised if this all disappears soon. And it's a harder volume pack to actually get your hands on. $1. Basically, really would love to see that. Metal Greymon is still holding this $30 range after its buyout. Nobody's buying it at that price range. Everyone kind of bought it in the 12s, $12.50 at that last moment. And that was about it. Looking at like €3. I don't hate it. Deltamon's holding that $10 range. I think it's a good pickup buy now, just so that if any other future stuff comes up, it might be useful for you. About €5. Not bad. Raihimon, $10. The reason why I'm reiterating this card is that depending on what they do for future support, might be really important to make sure you have it, especially if you're planning on playing purple. Looking at €3. Not terrible. Then we have Terriermon Assistant, about $5. Not bad, especially after its big spice from 2 to 5. And hasn't been bought since higher. So, Terriermon Assistant, about €2. Not bad. Innocent Blizzards, about $3. I mean, remember this thing being like 5 to close to 7 at one point. Good to see it coming down, and that's just because it's not seeing much competitive play. About $1. Not bad. Shoutmon X Antibody is going to just keep coming down a bit. I don't see it actually holding this $5 cost because it just doesn't see competitive play. Looking about €2. Not bad. Dead or Alive, another card that you guys want to make sure you have on your collection. It's not a bad card to make sure you have, especially going forwards. About $1, not bad. Argomon, remember this card being like bought out crazily, like $10 almost. Well, it's finally falling down. It is a one-of card, so it's not terrible. I mean, just make sure you have one, especially if you're playing Bloom Lord. About 30 cents. Not bad at all. So, guys, what did you think of this Market Watch? Let me know down in the comments. Hopefully, if I missed anything, let me know, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace!